Privet, the Dobra Pralovit. Of course, that means hello and welcome to another That Random Model live stream. Today we'll be talking about the 1/72nd scale Italeri MiG 37 Ferret E. This is a kit that was originally produced by Italeri in most other countries. And this one happens to be, well, if you look very closely at it, it looks like it was branded specifically for the Russian market. So let's open it up and look inside. It is sealed. I don't know about factory sealed. There is this line here, so it's possible this is more of a some people have the type of shrink wrap that can do this in like small businesses and such. So it's possible that this was done as in a small business in a Russian speaking country. There are a few of those still in the world. In the early to mid 80s, the United States and Russia were embroiled in a new arms race. They had seen each other. They had gone against each other during the height of the Cold War, developing the first jets, developing nuclear weapons, and then going to the moon and outer space. However, in the 80s, things had changed. The new race was stealth technology. And in the mid 80s, both countries were developing stealth technologies, and this was what Western intelligence operatives thought the Russians were working on, or at the very least, Western model producing companies. So while many of these vehicles were still in development and under very hushed tones, the model makers did not want to take their time. They didn't want to read about this a few years later in Popular Mechanics or Popular Science. They wanted to get their hands on a Russian-Soviet stealth fighter, or possibly whatever the Americans were working on. If you grew up in the 80s, every so often you'd see a news report that said stealth aircraft was lost in the desert, and they'd show a crude illustration of maybe a Have Blue or a primitive F117 Nighthawk. But at the time, they thought that was just a prototype phase, that was just a proof of concept. They didn't realize that that's exactly what it was going to end up looking like. So the stealth fighter that the Americans developed was the F117 Nighthawk, but I'm sorry, the F-17. Ignore me. The F-17. Now, at the time, it was thought that the new designation would be F-19, but that didn't happen. And the American what the Americans, or what people thought the American stealth was going to look like, was more of a curvy, swoopy fuselage and body. That is not what it ended up being, as we know now. We now know the F117. I should have looked that part up. I was doing all this other kind of research, like how to say hello and welcome in Russian, but I didn't look that up, and I'm sorry. That's a me thing, not a you thing. So let's get back to the kit. Here is the 1/72nd scale body of the Ferret This is a very angular, again, what many people thought the Russians were gonna come out with was basically more like what the Americans were developing, unbeknownst to everybody else. And the two designs that were popular in kit building worlds, the Monogram F19, which was in fact, I've got one here. I can show you a desktop model that's under development. Very special project. There was the Testors version, which was something that ended up looking like something out of the Hydro Thunder game. It's kind of ovoid, and then had ovoid wings and all. And then there's the swoopy version. A lot of people consider that the Aurora. Let me show you. This isn't by any chance finished, but this is what Monogram thought that the F-19 would look like for the stealth plane. This is not what the Nighthawk ended up. The final form of the Nighthawk, obviously, it actually is more like the MiG variant. Anyway, this is coming up on another show. That'll be a very fun build. So back to the kit. We've got our decals in Russian. The windows for the photo variant, as well as the stars and the no step markings and such, the airplane markings. You've got those in various items around the plane. The nose number and all, as well as your pilot. Now, in the early 80s, there was a different plane of this that, if it was Russian and it had the neural link for the pilot, you had to think in Russian in order to fly it. Not this, a different one. But could you make this like that? Well, that's possible. This has I don't think I have decided what exactly I want to do for this one yet, but of course it will be a fun project. The canopy glass, the outer body. I had a 1/48th version of this when I was a kid. It was probably about that long, with that long of a wingspan. Very fun kit. Very neat and angular kit when it came out. Testors had the F-19, which is possible as an Italeri design too. I'm not sure. Tester used a lot of other molds, Fujimi and Italeri and some other ones. I think Revell of Germany. So that might actually be a fun video for another time. I'm thinking actually doing some other topic videos for some coming up for different series and such. So that'll be a fun video. But this I wanted to show you, and I wanted to see what was in this too. I've seen the Italeri models for the for the MiG-37 before, but not in this scale and not this this Russian kit. In fact, I didn't even look at this. Oh, it's in Russian. You don't have to just think in Russian; you have to read in Russian too. But if you take a screenshot, I'm sure you could pull up Google Translate. Google Translate helped me with my introduction. Dobra Pavliat, I believe was the. I hope I didn't say anything bad about someone's mother. Please, I hope I didn't say anything bad about someone's mother or their dog. Just ignore me. I'm assuming these are your paints. Well, these look like dates. So no, these. Okay. F117 Nighthawk. There you go. Correction. So these are probably well, these of course are American jets. These are probably your MiGs. Famous MiGs head to head. I'm gonna translate this and see what it says later on. I didn't expect this. This is a lot of fun. Here are your color. This is your color chart, as well as your call outs and the triangles. Very nice, very nice. This looks very similar to the illustrations that were in the English printed ones for Italeri and the Testors ones. The Tester kit is a very good kit, by the way, and the decals for the Testors ones, especially in the 148 scale. I don't know about the 172nd scale, but they actually include these in like a white or a gray on a double sheet. And what they do is they have all these same markings in a gray. So you could do the black version with the red markings. You could do a white version, and they have an image of it on the box. You could do a white version with very light, I think it's white on top and light blue on the bottom for like a winter version, because winters in Russia last forever. Some of you know what I'm talking about. And that would have the gray and the white markings as well. And then again, the blue decals are a photo recon variant, and those go right underneath, right on the underside of the 36. On the 148th kit, it's actually molded where it goes, and it is here too. So you would have that under the nose side, and a glass piece for the nose cone itself. This one has that right there. So there's your photo recon nose piece, as well as, I don't know, maybe it has a glass piece for whatever version it is. It's been a while since I put this together. I don't remember what the instructions said, but there's your kit. This is definitely a fun one. Small version when it's built. This is also supposedly in 1/72nd scale. Jury's still out on that one. But when you've got them built and beside each other on your table, you're definitely going to have a bunch of nice kits, especially with the degree of painting and finishing that you put into this. This is going to come up on the channel sometime this year. I want to do a different style of build, one that I haven't done before, so I really don't want to get into it, but I'm just going to say, if you know what I'm going to do, that's good, because knowing is half the battle. So there's the F117 monogram. And the little story about the stealth race in the 80s. Not only was it going on between the Russians and the West, but also between the Western model makers, as far as what is it going to look like? You know, how is it going to present itself, and who can be the first one to that? They really wanted to scoop this one. So this, and I think it was all done tongue in cheek and for fun myself. When you look at these designs, these are fantastic designs. You look at this and your imagination runs wild. You know, what could this be? And I don't even know how I want to build this yet. I might make a Russian variant. I might make a one that you have to think in Russian to fly. I might make, I don't know, I might make a Star Wars space fighter out of it. Kind of has a cloak shake feel. Or maybe an Incom pre-X-Wing feel. Who knows? There's your moldings for the wind brakes, speed brakes. Your exhaust, your upper wings, your lower wings. speaking of this design, this is very similar to a Macros Plus build. The YF-21 Stormville, I believe it was. In the movie, in the Macros Plus movie, it was Gould. Gould was the pilot. He's a Zentradi miniaturized Zentradi pilot, and he was the flyer of something that looked actually kind of similar to this with the wings. It was kind of like a pre-Raptor design, so you could probably do like maybe that, like a prototype version of that, or prototype version of the Raptor. It does kind of have a Raptor-esque look to it. I'm probably going to get a lot of hate in the comments for that one. Anyway, that's my build. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, maybe learned something. Did you learn something? I don't know anything. As far as I'm concerned, this could have been brought to you by the number E and the letter 37. This is the MiG-37 Ferret E. Don't know why they came up with that. I know fighter variants in NATO called fighters by an F variant, bombers by a B variant, like Bear, so on and so forth. So that's probably what they were thinking was going to happen. So they really had the whole story laid out on this one. But as we know, the Russians never came out with a Soviet response to the F-117 Nighthawk. So who knows? This is either something that was stillborn in Russia, or something else. Could be the grandfather to the Su-57, I think it is, that flies today. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a very good day. See ya.